Right, hello, welcome back to another mussel fishing film. Obviously we're not on the boat today, we are on the shingle. We're back beach fishing. The winds have picked up again. They're going to be pretty windy, I think, for about 4 more days, and then I think it's meant to settle down. But I'm unfortunately away, but it'll be nice. We're actually going to West Wales, me and my other half, just for a bit of a de-stress, get out of nowhere, in the middle of nowhere, and just relax. But I will take my fishing rods, of course, and we'll see if we can do a session there or two. But been a very busy few weeks at work, and just non-stop relentless stuff going on, and I've decided this evening to come down and give the ray fishing a go down locally to me at Eastbourne. It's quite a big tide. I think it's 6.5 meters. It's not a massive, it's not the top peak of a spring tide yet, but it's certainly a building tide. I don't really know enough about the ray fishing to comment on what tides are best, but what I would say is a building tide is better than a dropping tide, you know. So when it's going up to a spring opposed to spring to a neap, going up to a neap to a spring is the better time to target them, because I've kept little notes and stuff, and I've generally found that to be the case even on the boat as well. So that's looking good for us. The wind this evening, you won't be able to hear any wind in the camera, because I've currently got about an 8-foot groin here covering me from the wind. That's meant to pick up a bit later on. It's meant to get quite windy, so it might get a bit horrible. I've only got one rod out at the moment. I've set both of them up, they're both prepared. I've casted one out and I've left one in at the moment, because it's sort of slack water. I want to get the tide moving, get a bit of flow, get the water moving in towards us a little bit, and then I will cast the second one out. We're on pulley pennel setups, we're on bits of squid and bluey as baits, and we're just going to sit back, we're going to relax, and we're going to see what we can catch. If I can get 1 or 2 rays this evening, it will be a big success. If we can get some dogfish, maybe some whiting, some bits and bobs, then it's been okay. We're not targeting dogfish, but to be honest with you, it's one of them sessions this evening. I'm not actually that hopeful. Probably should be, because it's actually been quite good fishing this week. Just unfortunate, I work and I couldn't come out. Otherwise it would have meant having 2 hours sleep and going straight to work, which is never good. So yeah, rods are casted out. We're going to see what happens. Let's hope it doesn't rain. Let's hope it doesn't get too windy, and we'll see if we can get you a fish. Obviously, if we get anything, I will bring it here and I'll show it to you, and I'll talk through the rigs a little bit more in detail later on. But they are just pulley pennels on limitless hooks. We've got some offset meat hooks, and we've also got some Ultra XT hooks, which are sort of like an Aberdeen, but they're a little bit shorter shank, and they've got a wider gape, so a little bit stronger. So yeah, they're the hooks we're using, and we're using quite long pulley pennels, about 12 foot total length. I like the length. Right, I'm going to go and stand by my rods down there, and if I get anything, I'll come back to you. Oh, well, the rods have been out for about half an hour. I saw one of them twitching, and we have one of the undesirables, a dogfish. I said today, if we can just get a couple of these, some whiting, you know, 1 or 2 rays, it'll be a great session. Just nice to catch some fish sometimes, isn't it? But just a little dogfish, not exciting at all really, but put a little knock on the rod. As we wound it in, I sort of knew there was something there. But yeah, only a very small one. We'll go and get that one back, and yeah, get a fresh bait and see if we can get something slightly more entertaining than that. Happy days. Right, okay, so we just had that dogfish, and now we've wound one rod in, I might as well show you our setup. We've got a universal match rod there from Limitless. A lovely light, fast action rod, this one. Very good for conditions like today, when you want a bit more of a stronger tip, and you don't want the tip to be too sensitive. That's still got a bit of sensitive in the tip, but it's not overly sensitive. It's not a continental style rod, it's just a nice overall match rod. There's a right in there. Yeah, lovely beautiful rod. I can cast quite away with it, and I'm not a great caster at all, but I'm doing 100 yards probably, which is all right. That is just a Temu fixable reel. These are a copy of one of the more popular reels on the market. Fixable size, 10,000, loaded with 50-pound braid and a tapered shock leader. Yeah, that does us. I think they were about 40 quid each. I've used them for quite a few sessions down the beach, and I quite like them. They come inside every day, every session that we've had. They come inside after the session, and they get rinsed with fresh water with a bit of soap, and then they get a bit of grease in them every time as well, just to try and keep them in top nip. One of the things which you can judge whether it's a cheap reel or not, or badly made, is whether the screws go rusty after like 2 sessions, which obviously means they're not stainless steel. These ones are not rusty at all, and even when you clean the cheap reels with fresh water, they still rust up. The screws on the outside still go rusty. These are not at all. They're still nice and shiny, and yeah, which means it's probably built in the same factory as that popular one. So that's what I'm using there. And then we come down to our business end. We've got a clip on that tapered shock leader. That goes on to a pulley bead there. That's a limitless pulley bead. It doesn't really matter which pulley bead you use, that's just what I'm using. And then I have a bead either side of that pulley just to protect the knots. And obviously one end you've got your swivel, and then that goes down to your hook and bait. As you can see there, that's just come out of the dogfish, so it's pretty mullered and it needs a new one. Today we're using a mixture of hooks, but we're using those limitless offset meat hooks. They're the ones I had all the rays on my last few sessions. Lovely hooks, really nice. Got a beautiful offset, perfect size gate. They're almost a catfish hook style, but slightly made different to make them into a meat hook. So that's Frio. It's got a singular hook, it's not a pennel setup, it's just a singular hook. And then obviously on the other end we come down and we've got our lead clip there, and then we've got our lead gripper lead there. And obviously what we do is we put the hook onto that little link there on the weight. As we cast out, it's all nice and tight. As it hits the water, the impact shield comes up, the hook's fired off, and then you've got a nice long flowing trace. Big ties today, so I do like to try and use the longer traces, so we have got a sort of 12-foot length pulley rig. I get some more bait on. I'm going to try and cast out 2 rods, but there's quite a lot of wind, so if we have a bit of problem with crossover or anything like that, then I'll probably stick just to the 1 rod for now, and then as the tide comes up and it settles down a bit and we know what the lines are doing, we'll stick to the 2. But for now, let's rebait that one, get it chucked out, see if we can pick up something slightly better than a dogfish. So you can see there, that's our bait. That's our Frio hook, and all we do, they're all prepared at home, these baits. I did them in the living room. My other half was pretty disgusted. All I do is I feed that on, pop the hook through so it's showing a nice proud hook, and then I'll bang a bit more elastic on there, and that's it. That's all we do for the baiting process. As I say, I do make, sorry, I'll turn this off. I do make all of my baits at home. We're just using bluey and squid wraps today, but I make them all at home and then they're all ready on the session. Sometimes we've got to make more if it's a good session, sometimes we don't, but yeah, I prefer having them all nice and prepared at home, ready to go. Okay, well, first target species of the evening, albeit a very small one, but we have got our first thornback ray of the evening. Beautiful little male fish. When they're small it can be a bit tricky to tell, but you can just about see their claspers there, just about coming out. So yeah, he's a little boy, and he's taken a bit of squid and bluey, and I'll have to get the T-bar on that one, but yeah, not too bad. We've got a very strong southwesterly wind at the moment, and that's making it quite hard to get distance. I think I'm still getting about 80, 90, but really trying to whack it out there, trying to wait for the gusts to slow down, then we're pumping it out there, and then we're just leaving him out there, and every 25 minutes I did see this bite actually, it really went like that. But yeah, nice little thornback ray. Get that one unhooked to get it back and see if we can pick up a bigger one, but target's achieved, and yeah, pretty happy about that. Right, so just bought in this rod here. These reels unfortunately didn't come with a spare spool, so what I've had to do is put one with 80-pound braid on it, and the other one I think it's got 35-pound on it. I don't think it's 50, I think it's 35-pound. But the 35-pound braid obviously is a much thinner diameter than the 80, and it's not getting as much tow from the tide and the wind. The 80-pound braid, wow, it's catching. So I'm actually going to bring this one in just for a little bit, just to wait for that tide to just, the fierce bit of tide just to sort of end, and then I'll lob it back out again when the tides come in a little bit more, and there's a little bit less tow on the line, because that 80-pound braid is really, it's got quite a thick diameter, and it's picking it up and it's just launching the weight across. And I mean, that's quite a heavy weight on there, and it doesn't want to hold. I could go up a little bit heavier, and I might actually give it a go, but the issue is if you've got one rod on a heavier weight and one on a lighter weight, they're doing different things and they can cross over more and get tangled. So it's always better to try and stay on the same weight if you can. So far just one dogfish and one little ray, but that was the target after all, so excellent, happy days. And I'm sure we'll pick up a couple more fish, but conditions are not easy. As I said, you've got an 8-foot wall there stopping any wind getting to you, so you'll think it's really calm. It is not. it's sort of 30-mile-an-hour gust as soon as you get down there, so yeah, not overly pleasant. But we're going to keep this rod in just for a little while, concentrate on the one rod just for a little bit, and then when I feel like I might be able to get this one out, we'll get it out. Because those of you that know me know that I don't like having one rod out. I like to have two. If I'm on the boat, I'll have 3, 4, I'll have as many as I can out and get away with. Oh, right, well, a slightly bigger thornback ray. Look at that one, absolutely beautiful. The bite on that, guys, was cracking. I was watching the rod tips and they were bouncing, and all of a sudden, whack, straight down. I went, that's a bite. Beautiful, beautiful thornback ray. Underneath this one, look how many spikes he's got underneath. Absolutely loads. Yeah, he wanted that bait. Really, really spiky. Yeah, really pleased with that one. That's a little bit bigger. Hopefully, we'll get one about double that size this evening and try and land a double, but they're not always easy to get, the big ones. Sometimes it's just, you got to take what you can get. We're out here in 30-mile-an-hour winds and we're catching thornback rays. Fantastic, a cracking bite. I'm going to get that one unhooked, get it back, and I'm going to talk about a little change that I done, which I think has bagged me that fish. Same bait, same rigs, but something slightly different on the end of the rig, not the hook. I'll tell you in a second. Right, let's get this one unhooked, get a photo, get it back. Excellent. Oh. Well, fantastic. That's 2 thornback rays and 1 dogfish. I couldn't have dreamed of saying that I'm going to get something from the shore, like a ray or a hound or whatever, sort of a year and a half ago from the beach, which wouldn't have happened. So yeah, I'm really pleased actually, because my beach fishing's really coming on. And hopefully you guys on the videos will notice that as well. Because if we go back a few years, I think I've probably got 4 videos trying for a ray, never getting them, just getting whited and the very occasional dogfish. Right, the tactic that I moved over to. So we've got a very strong wind here, very strong southwesterly, and I lied to you earlier about the tide. I said it was about 6.5 meters and it was a rising tide. It's not, I checked it again. It's actually top of the spring tide today. So this high is the first one going down to the neap tide. So it's still a very big tide. It's one of the top tides. Yeah, so that the top tide was today in the middle of the day, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, it's a very big tide. So I've gone on to 200-gram weights, which those universal match rods are basically that's their max casting weight. And yeah, they're flying out there. They're just punching through the wind that bit better. getting probably an extra 20 yards with those. The rods handle it perfectly. They're just fantastic. Absolutely love them. And the good thing with the big weights is it means we can use 2 rods, which is going to increase our chances of catching, and they're holding the bottom a lot better as well. I've only been out there 20 minutes, two bigger weights, and resulted in another thornback ray. So we're going to find that meat hook, which is there. There it is. And we're going to rebait and try again. Now, when you're ray fishing, I would always suggest carrying a T-bar. You probably see me using one of those on the boat a lot, but actually they're excellent bits of kit to carry on the beach as well. That's quite a big one, but I like having the weight in my fingers. It's quite a nice one, that one, and you can get right down if it's taken it, twist it and pull it out. No harm done. Fish returned. Right, let's try and get another one. Let's put in a bit more bait on and get it out there. Oh. Well, I just had that thornback ray. The other rod had probably been out there for 20 minutes, and I sort of could see there's a few knocks on there. Thought wind in, another dogfish. So 2 dogfish, 2 rays. At least we're not getting absolutely smashed by doggies yet, which is good. That's good news. Yeah, not too bad really. Now, the reason why you want to check your baits when it's rough like this often is just because if a dogfish like that is sitting on it, you're not going to catch your desired species. So I just think it's worth every 20-25 minutes, regardless of where you've got a bite on, especially in conditions like this. You know, it's rough, there's a lot of movement in the water, so your baits are basically quite often, there you go, hooks out, your baits are quite often getting washed out. Just bring them in every 25 minutes and change them. But that's one of the reasons why we make our baits before we come out. So it's an incentive then to use them up. It's an incentive to wind in and go, there's already bait there, clip it on and off you go, you know, really easy. But another little dogfish, not what we were after, but doesn't matter. Let's go and get that one back. Right, well, apologies guys, it's like a strobe light. I think my my light is running out. But another dogfish. We just lost a rig on out there. Felt a big thudding, and it just locked up, and I think what's happened is an eel's possibly taken me into a hole, unfortunately, but it is what it is. But yeah, another dogfish. I'll try and sort out this strobe light in a minute. There you go, another doggy. Try and get that one back. Right, well, we're coming sort of to the end of our session. I would stay a little bit longer, but for some reason, all of a sudden, we're only about an hour and a half away from high tide now. The weights are just being thrown up the beach. There's nothing I can do about it. I've shoved an 8-ounce weight on. I've put elastic bands around the grippers. Nothing. The tide is so strong, it's ripping around, and it's just not holding. So I've only got one rod out there at the minute. I'll try and stick it out for half an hour, because it might all of a sudden go good and the lines might tighten up and then we're fishing again. But yeah, at the moment, a bit of a pain in the bum, but can't really complain. We've had a good session, to be honest. We've come out and caught what we said we were going to catch, so yeah, I'm not moaning. Apologise for the flickering of the ring light. I think it's low on battery, so if you've got an epilepsy, then maybe don't watch it from now in case it gets worse. Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on that rod, see if we can withstand it for another half an hour to an hour, see if we can get them fishing a bit better, see if we can pull out one more fish. But I think we might have had our luck. Right, so that is session complete. Yeah, for some reason just could not get them weights holding the bottom. 8 ounces, and they were literally being chucked in like it was nothing. There's just such a strong current there, and to be honest with you, the bites have slowed down a little bit anyway, and I think we've had our fair share. So 2 rays, which is great as target species. I think 3 dogfish, or maybe 4. I think there was 4 dogfish actually. So yeah, not a bad evening. We only sort of spent 4 hours, I suppose. It wasn't even that long session in the end. And thank you for watching. Obviously the night videos are a different style to my usual videos. I normally like to put some nice music in there, some clips of me getting ready and the rigs and the weather and nice shots. But when you're night fishing, I've decided now it's just easier to have a simple format like this. And hopefully I can pass on some of my knowledge to help you guys catch more fish. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and have a great week. Thank you very much.